I've been an entrepreneur for about 8 years at least, full time, 7 or 8 years. But like really, like last 3 4 years have really been different for me. In the beginning, it was more all about building, and if it didn't hit, I would just build something else. And then you realize that's not how business works. Like, it's not about just building, but it's also like, understanding what works, understand solving problems is what I realize matters. Like you said, like engineers think differently. Instead of just tossing the whole product away, identifying what didn't go right and then fixing that. And that's been my approach the last 3 4 years, seeing what works better and then removing what doesn't work and then putting what works and or moving it to a place where it works. And then that's been like a builder, customer discovery, marketing, business, all kind of combined together.
Welcome, Bulent, to DealFlow podcast. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Super excited to sit down with you today, and I have done my own due diligence, doing a little bit of research. I've got a lot of questions here lined up for you. So I'm very excited to jump into what you are building there at Umi as a founder, and also to dive into your background. I want to know a little bit more about yourself, where you've come from, because I had a deep stalk on your LinkedIn, and you are ex-Meta, ex-Amazon, ex-Microsoft. You studied a business of Bachelor of Science, a PhD, and a Master's in Computer Science. But this is the catch that got me. You didn't even have a computer when you started university. So I want to open this up with, how does somebody go from no computer to working with these tech giants? Fill me in.
Yeah, wow, you did your research. That's good. So, computer age is like not that old. So when I was a kid, I actually didn't own any computers or anything until I started computer science. Funny story is that like I was planning to do electrical engineering because I'm a natural engineer. I have a natural engineering mind. And so I was going to be an engineer no matter what. I knew that, but electrical engineering was the one that I knew what to study. And I went to this college and then interviewed students at electrical engineering and computer science. And you go to the computer science labs, it's just a bunch of computers, nothing else. You go to electrical engineering and there's like beautiful like electrical devices and machines and like soldering, which is so cool. And then, but I talked to the people and electrical engineers, they were just so dull and then dead. And I'm like, well, so almost like their souls were like crushed. And I talked to this computer scientist who built something like pressing a R button and then there's this rain drops. And I'm like, this is not cool at all. This is so simple, not even a game. And it was so excited. And I'm like, what is going on here? And so I talked to another person, and then she said that she got accepted to a PhD program in the United States. And she said she hasn't slept in 4 days. She showed like her blanket, like sleeping in the lab, but she was so happy. And I'm like, I don't know what they are taking, but I want the same drug. I want the same thing. So that got me excited about computer science. I had no idea about computer science. I had no computers. I just saw that excitement and I said, there's something here. There's some future here. And I want to be in that space and build, my career or my future in that space. That's kind of how I got into computer science.
I love that. So you kind of were just intrigued by the excitement of everybody else around you with this new computer science technology and was like, I want to be part of that wave. Is that sort of where you came from?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's interesting. Like sometimes I go to San Francisco and you see that like excitement of like crypto builders and just talking about like random projects, but the excitement, AI, and I'm still like driven by this excitement. And I love computer science. I could have changed. I also said like I can always go back. There's no problem. But I never went back. It's been 20 something years being computer science engineering area.
Oh, you must love it. And I think about the the way that engineers think translates across into so many different areas across tech, business
Yeah.
development. It's the way that you organize information, you optimize systems, you find
Yeah.
faults and solve them. And also, when I was looking at your history, this is not your first time being a founder, is it?
No, it's not. I have a lot of scars, I guess. They say, as they say. Yeah, I've quite a bit of experience. But the last 3 or 4 years have been like I've been in like in build an entrepreneur for about 8 years at least, full time, 7 or 8 years. But like really, like last 3 or 4 years have really been different for me. In the beginning, it was more about it was all about actually not even more all about building. And if it didn't hit, you just build something else. And then you realize that's not how business works. Like, it's not about just building, but it's also like, understanding what works, understand solving problems is what I realize matters. And you know, like you said, like engineers think differently. Like if I do like cooking, for instance. Like I look at cooking as like I can cook the food I like, but I can cook for the event that I'm going to. And I adjusted instead of just tossing the whole product away, identifying what didn't go right and then fixing that. And that's been my approach the last 3, 4 years, like seeing what works better and then removing what doesn't work and then putting what works and or removing it to a place where it works. And then that's been like a builder, customer discovery, marketing, business, all kind of combined together for me.
I saw that when I was going into my deep dark dive of you, the level of diversity within the different products that you have built was like translating languages to optimizing customer
Hmm.
management systems to lead generation to whole entire efficiency engines for engineering people. And looking at that, it really showed me that you're a person that likes to you can identify the problem, but you like to go in there and fix the problem. So
Hmm.
what are you fixing with Umi, and what is Umi? I guess for somebody who doesn't know what Umi is, give us some insight.
Yeah,
What is Umi, and what are you fixing with it?
yeah. UMI is short for Unified Multi-VM Infrastructure. It's a layer 2 blockchain that we built on top of Ethereum. It's based on optimism stack, but we removed the execution layer to be able to run different types of VMs in a unified fashion. So a lot of the multi-VM projects are trying to bridge different VMs together in an asynchronous way. What we did was we built it one execution place environment where projects from MoveVM or EVM can run together, like a Solidity project and a Move project can work together, and they can access each other's data. Like for instance, a Move project who has no access to ERC20 tokens, Ethereum tokens, will be able to have that access directly. And that's the goal. And we built it as in an Ethereum ecosystem. The goal is to bring like different VMs and to the Ethereum ecosystem. It's a bigger ecosystem, anyways. And so what motivated me was, I've been involved in the movie ecosystem myself. I love that language. It's very secure, very performant, a very mature language, I would say. Once you like it, you love it so much. And you lost it, right? Also, write way less code with Move. And so being able to use that power within it an Ethereum ecosystem is kind of invaluable. So that's what Umi brings.
Can
And
you
yeah.
break down, just
Mhm.
before you carry on, can you break down and let people know what exactly is a virtual machine for somebody that's never heard that before?
Yeah, yeah. So, when you use Ethereum, Ethereum has multiple components and then multiple ways of interacting with it. So, when you send a transaction, when you send token, it actually some builder written some smart contracts in Solidity language, and that language is converted into this executable like code inside the virtual machine that can run the code. So when you send tokens from one person to another person, you're basically telling that code to execute for your account. And so virtual machine takes that code and executes it. And so there are multiple virtual machines. So like Solana has Solana virtual machine, SVM, Move has MoveVM, Move virtual machine. Ethereum has EVM. So what runs on Ethereum is not Solidity. It's actually Ethereum Virtual Machine, EVM. That's what's running. And then on top of that, so you got the EVM, and then EVM is just to basically executes your what you want it to run. But in order to make it secure and safe, you have the consensus layer around it, so that Ethereum can be run from different machines. They can talk to each other. They're all running their own individual VMs together, and then they're reaching a consensus. And then there's all networking layer and other things, and so that becomes the whole Ethereum ecosystem. So virtual machine is part of the core of the blockchain, where the actual execution of the requests happen.
And so where does UMI fit into the Ethereum ecosystem?
So what we did was we're extending Ethereum's execution. So even Ethereum Foundation is kind of complaining how Solidity has a lot of issues, first of all, and it's really not maturing or growing. It's still not even 1.0 version yet. And it's got like very high level code, that's high level like execution commands, and low level, and then you mixing them together creates security issues. And fixing it versus just using another much better virtual machine is the choice. So even Ethereum Foundation is thinking about like moving to WASM, WebAssembly, basically, to be like very low level. That's like the lowest level, but and you can run in any language. Basically, you can convert that. So that's they're focusing on. What we think is like we can extend Ethereum by running different kinds of VMs on Ethereum, basically inside Ethereum, but without like separating it, like making it like move the data somewhere else. It's just kind of in the same consent under the same consensus layer. So it still runs like Ethereum layer 2, but it's able to execute different projects together because it's running multiple VMs. Right now we have MoveVM and EVM support.
Okay, so
Yeah.
to describe this as somebody that maybe is like a passive Bitcoin holder, not very crypto friendly themselves. So there is the Ethereum ecosystem, which is the ecosystem where people are building apps and creating usable products for the crypto ecosystems. And then UMI is built on top of the Ethereum ecosystem. And
Mhm.
what benefits do you guys pass between each other, I guess you could say?
So we're extending it a lot.
Hmm.
So we're extending it to be able to include more projects, more different types of projects, not just Ethereum specific type projects, but different projects. And then we're also making it cheaper, which comes from being a layer 2, a lot cheaper, like hundreds, maybe 1,000 times cheaper. And but the extension we have is a lot more secure than the original original like EVM, I would say. So MoveVM has its own security benefits that come with it. So that we bring those security benefits to Ethereum. We bring more extension to Ethereum, and a lot of times and we also like from user experience perspective. This is not something like the original kind of vision was, but it was it's my kind of like my way of approaching projects. I like the projects that we build to be seamless, the experience to be seamless. That's kind of my view on projects and things. I just want things to be like seamless. So when people like use our bridge, for instance, the word they use is seamless. And I love hearing that. People say, "Oh, the experience was so seamless," because like we click the button and then there's like, hey, like you're not in the wrong network. No other project does that. We say like change my network because we're very security focused. We don't want people to like send by accident a mainnet token to somewhere random and lose their assets. So we make sure like, hey, change my address, my network to like UMI specifically, so that you don't lose your assets, and then do that and stuff like that. So we pay attention to the security, not what MoveVM provides, but we also, the user experience wise, we provide a lot of security benefits.
That is really important to be able to
Hmm.
create Web3 projects that are seamless because there's a massive gap in the market for that. And I think that is what is needed for people to start to come in and feel safe when they're exploring. Because with crypto, one of the big things is, you control your own finances, your own tokens, but you can also lose them very easily as well. So making it seamless and making it very trusted is super important. So if there is somebody who is going to discover Umi for the first time, maybe across on your Twitter or on your website, what value can you provide them?
So Umi is kind of like expanding its so from our original vision. So when usually builders come to us, they say we say, oh, they hear the MoveVM, they're like, oh yeah, but we don't have a Move project. And immediately we tell them like, well, what do you have? Like, oh, Solidity. Well, we support Solidity. So basically, but not only that, but also like we made it really seamless to execute, like send a contract. So like when you combine different things together, you have to you might have to like change like the interface, like how it faces the users or builders. And like for instance, like when we have multiple VMs, you might be like, okay, which wallet do I use, right?
Mm,
So like, do I use this wallet, that EVM wallet? They're wildly different from each other. So like picking, that decision. Also like builders like, well, do I need to make some changes to my code to be able to run it? Well, so these are very important decisions for us. And we go from like our principles, like, so we say like we're extending Ethereum. So it has to work for Ethereum users, whatever Ethereum users are familiar with. So when I open my MetaMask, I should be able to see my balance immediately without doing anything. I should be able to send my tokens on MetaMask through Umi without doing any interaction. I don't need to add an extension or anything. So that's exactly what we did. And for builders, if you send that to we have our DevNet ready, already running for about 6 months. Like you send it to DevNet, our DevNet URL, RPC URL, and /EVM. You put that EVM. You can just send your existing Solidity contract directly without making any changes. And same goes for Move, like we do like /Move. And so like these are like decisions that we made to make it very like easy to use. So if you're a builder, you don't need to change anything. You just kind of build the way you normally do, and the tools that you normally use to send your contracts. And then if you're a user, you just a crypto user, you're familiar with it. You just kind of use exactly the tools that you are familiar with. So you don't need to make some changes. Behind the scene, we handle all that nitty gritty in between changes, computations, and all that stuff. We handle on our chain directly. So we basically offload all that to our chain.
hmm So there's so much competition in the L2 space for blockchains. How do you guys plan to win market share or convince developers to come across and build? You saying they don't actually have to be building in the Move language. You also support this Ethereum, Solidity, and
Mhm.
some other languages I think are in the pipeline to be coming to be supported. But how do you convince developers that Umi is the next big wave of L2s coming through?
Yeah. So we are quite unique in our approach, and also how seamless it is quite unique. And so that gets really good attention. So from bigger projects to smaller projects, like existing Ethereum projects, big projects are able to join in, and seeing that being able to access that liquidity for a Move project, it's quite attractive. I mean, because you're stuck with like one or two chains, and then there's a limited things you can do there. But if you like open it up to whole like Ethereum ecosystem, it kind of becomes very attractive for those projects, and that's quite big. And even like you know like different flavors of Move have they don't work together either. So we're planning to make them work together. So our goal is to like really make any project work with each other, and not just by itself, because you can achieve that normally anyways. But making them work with each other is quite hard, actually. A lot of
Mhm.
actually quite technically challenging. It's hard to even you gotta have to sacrifice a few things, but it's really hard to make it work. But being able to like have these unrelated projects be able to like relatable, it opens up new space of like opportunities. Like waiting instead of waiting for like USDC to come to the Move chain, you can have direct access to it from day one because it's an Ethereum network stuff. Like let's say all the meme coins. Let's say we have even the future Solana VM. All the meme coins can be on our chain from day one, and then any Ethereum project can access to that meme coin and make some swaps and things like that. It's just it kind of opens up new opportunities here. So that's the feature we see. We try to bring in existing projects because of this to open up kind of new types of applications that can be built in this unified multi-VM infrastructure.
That's cool. So you're able to uh, actually build across all ecosystems, and get the benefits from the liquidity benefits from all ecosystems by building with Umi, right? Because you don't have to specifically go, okay, I'm building in Ethereum. Okay, I'm building in Solana. You saying that you can get the benefits of all of them and really focus on developing the apps, and Umi has the security, the liquidity, well, the
Hmm.
benefits of the liquidity all sorted out. That's right.
Yeah, yeah, correct. Like, yeah, like, do you have access to whatever token? Well, if it's on Ethereum, we have it. Like that's just the answer is short. You have this on Move, but if it's on Move, we have it basically. So it basically really opens up new opportunities here.
Speaking of working with each other projects, but I want to go a little bit more into you and solo founder. Is that right? Or have you got a co-founder?
I'm a solo founder.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have quite a small story there, but I'm a solo founder right now. Yeah.
Would you like to share your story?
Yeah, definitely. So, the technical person that I work with, Michael, I actually, he's just not interested in being a co-founder and stuff in general. But he's the only person I told him, Michael, if I were, I offered him, that you are the only person I would really feel comfortable. And I've been working with him over 3 years. And he's almost like my therapist. Sometimes I say, you're my therapist. Like if I get like stressed out or like stuck with anything technical, especially. I mean, it's just we just talk, and then I feel much better afterwards every time. So yeah, we've been working together for 3 years. So like I could like he's not a co-founder, but I mean he's close to that. Yeah,
Yeah, building a
in my
strong
in my
team
head.
around you. Of course. I mean, if you're
Yes.
your therapist, I was speaking to another founder and they said treat them like you're going to marry them. So finding a good fit with a co-founder relationship is really important, especially for long-term success, because you're going to be working with them very closely for a long time. So what are
Yeah.
some non-negotiables and personal characteristics that you look out for to build your founding team around you?
Okay. Yeah. For me, I would say bias for action is very important. I really gravitate towards people that are just kind of take action, I would say. It's such a like depressing conversation for me if someone brings up all the negatives. I mean, I can bring the negatives myself if I want to. There's so many negatives. I actually like 90% of startups is negative. Let me be honest. And then, but you just like, like they put that like force, like whatever that protection thing is. You just look at that narrow like 10%, like try to stay positive and then take action towards it. Like it's not just like staying and oh yeah, this sounds cool. No, I can take action. So I'm quite action oriented myself. I like to gravitate towards people who take action. And yeah, overall, there's just a feel for it for me. I mean, I just when I talk with Michael, I asked him for 10 minutes of his time. I was actually working with like EVM stuff and trying to like look into like ZK EVM combination of things like that. I was exploring. And I messaged him, like I messaged three other people. I say, "Hey, can I like steal 10 minutes of your time?" And then, we talked for 2 hours. And then we've been talking ever since that day, like every week, nonstop. So when you have that kind of connection with someone, you're like, yeah, this is the one, I guess.
Just
So
sort of
like
felt
being able to,
natural.
yeah, it feels natural and also complementary a little bit. That
Mm.
you want complementary skills too. Like Like a lot of times, like what we find is that someone like yourself. That's very common actually. And that's actually, I would say it's incorrect. I've done that before and I realized that's actually not correct way of finding a co-founder. It's better to find someone complementary to your skills.
I have found that when talking with founders as well, the best dynamics between teams is when there's somebody who's super technical and there's someone who's super operational and they just do their own specialties perfect and the alignment is just impeccable. So when you can find those good co-founders, you really got to nurture those relationships because the reality is you're not just building one project for a year, you're building a project for longevity. And that's what I understand Umi is doing here. And I want to ask you to dive a little bit deeper into the Umi ecosystem and what you guys are doing there to really kickstart some growth. Because I know there is a new app known as Odyssey in the pipeline that has,
Mhm.
was it 13,000 daily active users? Over 1 million people have visited it since it launched. Give me some details. What is Odyssey?
Yeah, so honestly, it's quite a surprising ecosystem growth has been for us. So we've started, so in order to like grow our community, so we've started growing ecosystem like projects. It's a little slightly easier for me or for our team because we're quite technical. Being able to convince other technical people is quite easy, at least for now. But like growing the community has been a challenge. So we looked around to other projects and I found this like dedicated like apps that are like you go to an app and you have like this map view and then you click on the quest and then it opens up. It's kind of like when you go to like projects like Info5 projects, I don't want to name any of them. I don't have to come after me. But so when you go to Info5 projects, you see the project and do this, do this, do that, and then get out. And I just didn't like that aspect because I'm like, yeah, but like a lot of people like just want to continue, giving to the projects. So I looked at other platforms where it's more profile focused, user focused, and I saw a few examples. When usually commonalities like there's a map, and then you kind of explore, kind of gamified. You go to the quest, mint your NFT there, and then gain some points to do other things, and connect and follow someone, and then just collect points, and you got some badges, and it's kind of I have my own profile that I can just show and be proud of. So we started building that since like May, and it took us about like 4 months to build. And then we launched it. Man, it just crashed. In like within 3 minutes, just crashed. And then we could not bring it back up for like 24 hours because the
What
scale was just
happened?
so much. Like immediately 5,000 people just kind of came in like instantly. And our AMA had 1,400 people, 1,400 people like simultaneously, like 30,000 people joining in, like, and then we were just blown away. And we're like, okay, this gotta be like a temporary thing, right? That's what we thought. And they were like, oh, it's gotta be bots. And then bots
Yeah.
usually give up. Bots usually give up. That's something that I learned. Bots stay for like 5 days, 10 days, and they just stop coming because they collect their points and then leave
Mm.
um, onto the next thing. So what you're left with is the real people. And so we surely thought that it would die, and we did surveys, and then people have been using it a lot, and we have our servers crashed, and we just scaled them up immediately, and then we built everything nicely, and then now we're like looking at the data like every day. It's like it's like every week 5% increase, and then people keep coming back. I click a random person's profile, like I have analytics. I just click the person random, whatever, click, and then go which days they came. Yesterday, the person showed up, the day before, the day before, the day before, the day before, all the way to like the day they joined. I'm like, there's definitely something really big here, and then they either love the platform Odyssey or they love Umi or combination of both. So we were surprised by the attention. So and then yeah, we think we identify something key here with Odyssey, uh, the connection for Odyssey to Umi. We find something key here, I think.
That is some incredible community activation, and it's organic by the sounds of it as well.
It's very
Finding
organic.
organic, real users, not bots, is really challenging for a lot of people in building in Web3. Do you have any hacks or secrets that you think help with this successful launch? I know you're always doing spaces, which have really grown throughout the time. Do you recommend
Mhm.
other founders jumping out there and doing spaces, or what sort of secret sauce have you got that led to such a successful application launch on your ecosystem?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, like, we do a lot of things, but, honestly, I just think that we're doing the right product. I think it's the
Mm,
right product. It's just the sense of it, the way, but it's a reflection of our personalities. Like, it's a
mm,
reflection of our team. The product is different than others because it's a reflection of our team. It's not like it's not just a killer, like, get it done and then get out and earn your points
mm,
and leave. So honestly, like bots do come, but they leave eventually because people don't keep up the bots for more than 10 days and then just they drop. And what you're left with is like kind of like sort of real people. And I think a lot of when I surveyed the customers, and look, my Twitter account is not big. I wish it was huge. And I'm talkative normally, but I'm not talkative on social media. And it's not big. If I were like, hey, we're so famous on social media, we're not, it was not that. And our daily active users, our active users are more than our Twitter followers. So Odyssey is way bigger than our Twitter
wow.
social media, basically. We have 60 something thousand, 65,000 users and 13,000 daily active. Our social media is 32,000. I mean, our Odyssey app is doing way better than our social media account. So
Do
I
you
think I
know
think what we had,
where in the world they're coming from?
yeah, everywhere, honestly.
Everywhere. Awesome.
Yeah, countries that I've never heard the names of.
How
It's
does
pretty
that make you
impressive.
feel as a founder when you know that tech that you are building is touching all corners of the earth? Like, that must give you goosebumps, right?
Totally. I mean, I'm like, I try to find like interesting countries there. Burma, like I found, oh, who's from Burma? Like Nepal. I'm like, who lives there? And I just click and then just follow. How many times this person came? I personally relate to that person. Like I scroll down, a person came yesterday, the day before, a week before, and these people are looking for something. These people really want to, dedicate their time and then like get something. Maybe like you just love the way we like respect the pro users. I think we just respect users instead of just respecting projects only. I mean, we respect our projects too, but like we really respect our users. We show the badges and we really give them like referral points, and every point we just make their profile logo up there. Like that's like one of the first
Mhm.
things when you onboard, like, hey, what's your username? What we should we call you? What's your profile photo? And people like take a screenshot of that and then post it on Twitter. And I'm like, why do you do that? We didn't ask for that. People take that little box and then send it. And I asked people like, what are your favorite features? And they said
Mm,
badges. They're like so proud. And then the hardest quest we have, which is our faucet bridge. And they said they love it because it's daily and I'm doing something. I feel like I'm doing something.
mm.
I'm helping the team. So this is real feedback. So I really think there's a lot of people on Earth that just kind of wants to help these projects and then let the project grow. And then if they have a part of it, share of that, and then they know they can grow with it. So I think that's like a beautiful feeling. So we just want to make sure that we nurture this and then grow it and not let it drop. Honestly, we tr- like we should have dropped by now, but the users are so good that like it just keeps going up every day and every single day it goes up. And so in a way, I think we identify something useful. And I also want to say, like, my team has been like really good because I really, um, like, really, our team has been really digging in and then on trying to understand and helping. We got a lot of tickets. We got a lot of fix. We got to fix a lot of things. My team kind of has been very effective in that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
making sure that you are having that true product market fit, and it looks like the numbers are showing that and reflecting that. So I think that's something that a lot of founders do struggle with. They put something out there, they get super attached with them, and they just can't, it's not fixing or not providing value or entertainment or something for the users. And they
Hmm.
are slow to identify that. But by the sounds of it, you've had a whole entire reverse happen with
Yeah.
Odysseys. So I want to know, it's just Odyssey is an InfoFi platform, and for the last year or two, right, in the crypto and the Web3 space, InfoFi
Hmm.
has been a narrative, we like to call them, but a hot topic where it's allowing people to come in and to learn and to do set tasks to onboard them into new projects. And you're saying Odyssey is a similar project that allows people to be onboarded. Why is it different from other ones out there at the moment? What is that? What you're saying is there's a bit more daily active users, encouraging people to gamify or
Hmm.
interact more? Like, why do you stand different, or why do you think that why do you think that Odyssey is different from all other InfoFi platforms out there?
So I so there are similar projects, but they are mostly specialized for the project. They're not thinking outside of that. What we made it for available for other projects actually. So we're making it available for other projects. We're actually announcing it soon. Maybe by the time this comes out, it's going to be announced probably. And so Umi is going to be like the backbone of Odyssey. Any kind of decentralized application can be run on Umi. But Odyssey, we're thinking it's bigger than just ecosystem growth for Umi. I think it's bigger than that. I think it's for other projects as well. I think people are pulling it out of us, like they're just like kind of growing it. Um, and so what we think is that like the difference from users' perspective, it's like the daily interaction, the daily
Mm,
activation, daily coming back to it. It's almost like you have a plant at home and you water it daily. That feeling is quite strong. That's that bond. It's almost like Tamagotchi, kind of that bond, daily activation, daily. And to be honest, I'm a collector myself. So like
what do you
being able
collect?
to, like, I collect like coins and foreign currency.
Cool.
So I have a ton right now because of crypto conferences. I have old coins and new coins. I've been collecting since I was, I think, 8 or 9 years old. I like to like own things like that. So that ownership is quite strong. It's not like a owning the world. I don't mean that. It's not like a materialistic super a lot of ownership. It's just a kind of little possession of like your little thing, and you add a little bit to it every day. I think honestly, it really fills that gap for that personal feeling. And and so for projects, like it's a way to like reward the people that are just your daily active users, basically. And you can
Mm,
request anything. Like we requested the hardest things, and then the easiest thing, like, hey, post about our project versus go to the this faucet, spend 2-3 minutes. It's gonna fail a few times and then and then activate that bridge, and people prefer the bridge instead of just posting like that. That's just, there's something here, like people
mm.
want to really like help projects, and we're just closing that gap. And I think a lot of projects will want this, like daily active users instead of just numbers. We provide the numbers too, by the way.
Hmm.
And then the users that want to do that, so we're basically becoming like this connector in a way.
How important is it to get that early user feedback and bring your early community into that development process and rewarding them for successful project growth, I guess?
Yeah, honestly, like we were not gonna launch Odyssey this early. It was a premature project. We had way more features to announce. Um, but we got to a point where like we just should just launch. Our team has our growth, marketing growth person was like, hey, let's just launch it. Let's close the thing gaps and then cut off the things that don't work, not finished. It's gonna launch it. It was the right call. I mean, it's just being able to see the feedback, like even directly asking them what features do you like, and then being
Mm,
able to see people sharing the stuff they share their profiles online. We actually added a profile share button. Honest, yeah, people don't use that, but people like take a screenshot and then send. I'm like, okay, sure, like, but that's feedback. That's feedback. I tell
mm.
that to our engineers, like, look, people are not using your button, so go figure it out. Either remove the button or give something, like do something about it. Basically, like we have a whole like real estate. Actually, it's so funny. Like I'm thinking about this, like we're doing the wrong things and it's still working. That's just insane. At the top of the
That's the
page, we
right
have
thing, though, right?
it's the best feeling actually. It's so annoying, but it's that's the best feeling. We got this community milestone at the top. The most important thing for us. Nobody does it. Nobody even looks at it. And the bottom, there's like at the bottom, there's the faucet quest, and everybody goes down and does that. I mean, like we made it like we're put in the worst place, and then people still want to use that. That's just feedback. And I tell my
Mm,
engineers, look, this is like news. Like put that out there, you know. Like it's information for us, you know. And
absolutely.
and then not only that, but scalability issues. Like your website crashes. Like why does it crash? Well, we have a lot of like on the map we had a lot of clouds that's
Mhm.
floating. It was really nice, and then you just zoom in, zoom out, and it was really nice. But then those clouds were so high resolution, so we just took them off. You know, we just like just get rid of them. So now it's
Make it
just bare
simple.
map. Yeah. But yeah, whatever, like it's just scalable. You get like technical feedback, you get product feedback, you get UI usage feedback. And you also like you shouldn't be afraid to like test things out to failure. And I
Mm.
actually did tell this to my men when I'm entrepreneur friends. They're afraid to like test it because they don't want to fail. No, I'm like, your goal is not to not fail. It's just your goal is to get to the failure quick so you can figure it out and then just pivot or do something about it, basically.
Have you
So
ever been scared that Umi would fail?
Um, uh, y- y- yeah. Well, in the beginning, we did our pivots too. So I guess
Mhm.
yeah, for sure. I don't know. My personality is a little strange in this way because I'm afraid of things, but also like I also see it as an opportunity for some reason.
Well, building a
Yeah.
blockchain is definitely not an easy task. So I want to know about the first time you discovered blockchain and why were you like, I need to build one of these?
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So I was 2018, I believe, or 17 or 18 around that time.
Hmm.
That's when I really understood blockchain. I heard about it in 12, but I didn't really um, like it wasn't talked much where I lived. So I heard it and I just forgot like it never heard it again.
Mm.
So well, my friend talked about it, and at the beginning it was more about investment, and you know I got burned so bad,
Didn't
burnt
we
out by
all?
it. Yeah, like so bad. This is when Ethereum was like $100. Um, Anyways, so yeah, but then I realized it's best to just let it go with these things. So
Mm.
instead of just like daily like looking into it, it's just kind of even your projects like I realized like my best strength, my strength is in the building. So I decided to like focus on building. And then not, I have a few coins here and there, but just live them there. I just kind of focus on building. That's how I got introduced. And it took a little break, but then I just came back full force. Yeah.
What was it about blockchain that you thought was so compelling that you wanted to build a blockchain? Well, now you're building an app on top of a blockchain, so you're kind of doing
Mhm.
both. But initially, why did you see, like, oh my God, blockchain is the new form of technology? I want to be part of this wave.
Yeah, I think I did go through that 2008 crash myself, here. I mean, I wasn't like fully affected financially that much, but I've had friends that lost their houses and everything. And then some of them bought very cheap houses. And then like I saw like many banks that I used to like go to just closed. And I remember like I was like super early in America and everything. I thought that was like every every year. I know that's how American economy functions. You just bunch of banks open and then next year they close close
I
down.
hope not.
Because I came in 2007 and then that was 2008. So and then in 2010 people bought and I saw that, and then being able to have like the sovereignty, like being able to own your own um, you know, financials and being able to control that. It just attractive. But also on the technical side, like, I do send money to, sometimes like to my family and stuff like that. It's just the fees and the other things. It's just the time. Like you can't send it on the weekend and this and that. But there's so much hassle.
Mm.
And so like being able to send through like the USDT or USDC, you just send it and then in a second it's there. That's just beautiful. I mean, that's just how money should be moving. And that seems,
Yeah.
very attractive. Yeah.
So you came to America in 2007, and I also read a quote on your Twitter page or X page. I always get confused if I should call it Twitter or X. I'm sort of in the transitional
Yeah,
stage, but it's
yeah.
X. Sorry, on your X page, you mentioned move to a city with like-minded people. So I want to know, how important do you think it is to put yourself in the right environment to be successful?
Yeah, I think it's very important. Like for some people, if you're not, um, I don't know I don't know how some people are not like this. I mean, it's a rare situation, but a lot of people, including myself, we're affected by our environment. So our environment shapes us, and we don't know this, but it does shape us. So like, so I really like, I knew that I was sort of different. But I mean, I'm not like a weird person. I'm not like super different, but I knew my mindset was like slightly different than other people. But when I went to San Francisco area, it just felt so natural to me. I'm like, oh, everyone here is like me. That's so weird. It just felt so weird to me because the way they talk about stuff, oh yeah, you succeeded so much, amazing. I get excited for other people's success. I don't know, that's just how I am. And I see that in San Francisco area. That's just kind of like that mindset really affected me. And I just honestly, I don't want to even lose that mindset. So I don't even
Mm,
interact with the places I live, the people with I don't interact with the people where I live anymore because I am affected by them, and you kind of become that. And I remember when I lived in Florida first 6 years, and I left after 6 years. I said, I can't take this anymore because I'm either gonna be a bartender or some like a club promoter or something, because that's what people do there, and it really affects you. You can't have any like intellectual conversation with anyone because you
mm,
have to be sort of like a act so dumb to be able to fit in over there. I don't know. It's just that you don't have to be dumb, but like it's just Florida is the club culture, has a lot of club
mm,
culture. But you go to San Francisco, most people will not like it. To be honest with you, it's just not for everyone. The day ends at like 9 p.m. There's no nightlife. I forget about drinking. No one drinks. And the conversation you're going to have is about coding and products and stuff like that. But that's my kind of people. I love that
mm-hmm,
stuff. And I can do that all day, every day. It just gives them new ideas. But I think it's also like, I think it's okay also like go there, get the mindset, get adjusted, and then leave and build your product in a more like empty, free environment where like you have more time. Because that might be too much distraction too, because there's always like new ideas in San Francisco. You might
mm.
get too distracted, but having the mindset and then bring it to someone and work somewhere else is also okay. But environment is very, very important in general.
Yeah, they do say that you are the person that you surround yourself with, you know? So you take a little bit from everybody and then obviously curate it into your own characteristics and traits. But I also agree, putting yourself in the environments where you continue to be inspired, continue to be driven and learn new ideas. I think that's also really important. I found sometimes when I've been working remotely, I lose touch of that. And maybe,
Hmm.
like you mentioned there in Florida, it's more of the bartending environment. When I was living in Canada in a small little ski village, it was very much just an
Hmm.
outdoorsy, and we only spoke about the weather. Let alone did I bring up
Yeah,
anything to do with blockchain, and then they would run for the hills in the different directions. So I can
I know.
appreciate that when you want to just nurture yourself into those stimulating environments. And it's important, I think,
Yeah.
especially in the early stage when you're a solo founder like yourself, or just in the small little teams, right?
Yeah. Yeah, even like a remote environment, like we have a remote team, it's very like you can get like the tasks on A, B, C done, then and then move. But you don't, because you have to take those individuals, they don't really interact with any people with blockchain in the blockchain space or in your company. So you don't have that serendipitous conversation. So what I do is usually like extend the meeting just a little bit, not chit chat, just technical conversation or like business conversation about the project, about crypto space, but within that space, but like having a little more conversation with them instead of just saying like, what did you do, what have you done, and then just moving on. I say like, hey, why did you think of it this way, or like, how did you do
Mm,
this way, is there any alternatives, can we do something else, do you know anybody else that we can talk to, like just gonna extend the conversation a little bit with a remote team. That really works. instead of just like trying to get the meeting done. Obviously, you want to
Asking
time it, so
why
I
is
always look at the clock, and I always look
mhm.
at the clock to make sure I time it. But I do tend to like extend the meeting just a little bit so that people feel better to talk about the project and the blockchain space in general.
I think asking people why and clarifying the understanding is so important because it's human nature to just be a bit
Hmm.
of a yes man, be like, yes, 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 I understand. And then you go away, you're like, what just happened? So
Yeah.
I think to give people that the time and to give them the education, and then once somebody understands something, they're more likely to
Yeah.
activate on those thoughts, right? So I think it's really important.
Yeah.
Another question. So moving like still people that you surround yourself, I think that we've been on a meeting previously before and I've seen you with your son. How do you go about juggling fatherhood, startup culture, business development, and just maintain that balance?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's I think I think like you said, the balance is the
Mm,
key word here. You said it very well. The balance is key. Like you need to, like you can't, like if you're leading the company or something, you have to rely on your team. You can't just do everything yourself, first of all. So but there are things you need to activate. A lot of the CEO job is like more like activation than doing the work. So like, hey, let's launch it. But you gotta tell them we're launching it. Otherwise, they're not. No one's gonna launch it. They're gonna just wait for the perfect moment. But you have to create that that environment. And once you do that, people kind of take it from there. And same with the baby stuff. Like being able to like dedicated time, like actually like tonight is my turn to take care of the baby. So like once a week I take the baby at night, and then once a week, once or twice a week during in the week, I just in the morning I take the baby. I just make sure that I take care of that. It's like dedicated time, because it's different than like you know when everyone's like looking after a baby or doing the same thing. Everyone's like semi busy, but instead like saying
mm,
like I'm 100% taking it. You do whatever you want. You're free. That freedom really creates that
mm.
mental health, better mental health. And I work out too, by the way. I'm go to the gym like 4 or 5 times a week. So, and being able to do that work. I also write code. I mean, it's it's not easy. I do write code, especially on the weekends. So you gotta like make sure that you dedicate the time and they communicate, set the expectations. Like with Odyssey, like we say, like, hey, we're doing it this way right now, or we're gonna do this other thing. Even though it's a bad thing, you have to tell them so to set the expectations. Or like, I'll take care of the baby, but I need someone else in the morning. I have a meeting, and yeah. The funny thing is my baby's like me a little bit. She's quite independent. That also helps.
That is, yeah, I love that. You're focusing, you're sort of blocking out times and being 100% present with that task at that time, whether it's go to
100%.
the gym, take care of your children, or dive deep into some nitty gritty code. But you're like, okay, this
Yeah.
is where the blinkers are on today, or for this hour, for this block. This is
Yeah.
my focus time, and being present. And that actually allows you to switch off from some other things and actually enjoy the
Yeah.
time and spend it more wisely, I do think as well. So,
Yeah.
with a
There are
young
a few things.
child,
Yeah, there are a few things here. Like for instance, like when I say like when people say like a dedicated time, you can't predict the time, by the way.
mm,
Like you can't be like, I'm going from 2 to 7, I'm gonna do this thing. You can't. You really hard. It's really hard. At least for me, it's really hard to do that. I'm gonna go to the gym at 4 p.m. and then I'll be done at 6 or 7. Enough, but you just don't feel like going at 4. So what are you gonna
mm,
do? Like you're not gonna go? I mean, so you gotta be like, I'm just gonna go, and then when I'm there, I'm 100% in. So that's
mm,
my that's how I do it. But I do give myself enough buffer. Like I don't make sure like I don't have too many meetings. I just give myself enough buffer so that I can have like the freedom to choose what I want to do at that moment, and then just focus on that 100%. And I should also make sure I switch to something else, because you can get kind of rabbit hole into one area. So for me, like writing code is fun. So I could just be writing code all the time, but I should not do that. So I make sure I don't write too much code during the week. I only do it on the weekends. It was
what do
reversed
you
when I first started the project.
What do you think about AI writing code? I mean, you're a natural OG
Yeah.
coder, I guess you could say. And now with the advancements of technology and vibe coding that's coming out, I mean,
Yeah.
anybody can code. So is this dangerous? Are you excited about it? Do you still use it? Is it legit from your OG coding days?
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that's overloaded because I have a lot of thoughts on this, but I'll keep it short. Yeah, to me, what the new technology, I'm all for technology. Whatever new, I love that stuff. So for
Hmm.
me, coding is, I would say like until GPT-5, I didn't like it. I used it. I used it all the time, but I didn't really like it. But because the way I was saying like, hey, like don't change my code. Take my code as it is, and then give me what I should add or remove. Like
Mm.
I am this authority here. Like you're not. You don't take my code away. So like I'm the authority. Give me the code, and then I'll just include it myself. Like that I can figure it out. But the context wasn't right with GPT-4. With 5, it reads your code and then adjusts accordingly, and I love that. And I like even like code reviews. Sometimes I tell like, hey, one time there was a very like a heavy code with like algorithm. I said, well, there's this algorithm I explained, and I was like, hey, can you review it? And then actually, code review, ChatGPT found the error. He said, hey, these edge cases aren't covered. And I tested, and it wasn't really covered. And I said, hey, and then my engineer was like, good catch. I'm like, I should thank AI. Things like that, it's very useful. Like you have to
Mm.
use it. I use it all the time. But you need to also. I also saw people who don't code use AI. It's just a mess. They don't even know it's a mess. It's like imagine you don't speak a language like I don't know, like Vietnamese, and you say, "Hey, write me an article about in Vietnamese," and you're like, "Okay, well, it looks nice, it's long enough, and I mean, it looks," and then you send it over, but it's gibberish. Like I mean, it works, but it's not like perfect. Like it's got a lot of
Mm.
fluff and other things, and Vietnamese people they're gonna read it, they're not gonna like it. So
Mm.
that's the difference, like between knowing the code, it's like knowing the language, but letting the translator to do it for you but not knowing it at all and then just kind of blurting it out. So there's a big difference between the two. But if you have no coding skills, I mean, you kind of have to rely on that and then, really make sure that everything kind of works. You kind of test it out really well. But if you need the code, I think as an assistant, it's really well. I
Mm.
use it as an assistant to me.
That's a great little co-founder that you can just have in your pocket all the time, right? Whether it's strategizing with
Yeah.
business development or helping improve your code or what have I missed. I think that's awesome about AI. For me, I'm in this space where I'm a non-code. I'm an engineer, so I kind of understand sort of the flows and how to create systems.
Yeah.
But the nitty gritty of writing code, I'm not there, which is why
Yeah.
I really have leaned into the skill of vibe coding and
Yeah.
being able to use native language to create interfaces and digital products. I think that's a new level I unlocked. But you're totally right, behind the scenes, I'm like, what is going on? So it's probably, I don't know.
So
It was,
I guess at a philosophical level, not philosophical, but more like a like a day-to-day usage. You use AI too. I have a question to you. So how do you go back to not use like let's say AI made a mistake. How do you go back? I feel
mm,
so lazy to go back to not using AI. So how do you cope with that? That's maybe a question to you.
yeah, I think I'm interested to see how like the adoption will take place because I know that I have been using AI every single day and I consult with it and I work by myself as well. So it's a really great advantage for that. But I do genuinely think that it's going to make a lot of people lazy and reliant on AI. And because AI sort of conforms to an idea and it's very
Hmm.
it's propping you up. It's always giving you encouragement, like, great idea. I didn't think about that. And it's always very positive and reinforcing those messages.
True.
But I don't think it's creative and it doesn't have that really logical human reasoning thinking, which I think is, I mean, for younger generations, perhaps your children or other kids out there who are now using AI in their schools and their homework and everything, is leaving out that creative source that I think that human logic is has the potential to be lost as we become more and more reliant on AI.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the AI is getting smarter, but it's still conforming to very similar ideas. I know that when I'm, ask a question across maybe 4 different softwares, and they give
Mm-hmm.
very similar answers. So I'm like, hey, where is the new thought coming into this? If we're all using
Yeah.
AI, are we all going to be thinking the same ideas? And that's when stuff is going to get really dull. And I think we can also start to see that on socials when we're seeing artificially generated content coming
Mm-hmm.
through.
Content.
It's
Yeah.
quite similar. It's not new. It's not human. And I think that there needs to be the balance. It's like, you give your kids screen time, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a reason why people call it screen time. You're not meant to spend all your time on it. You got to. It's
Yeah.
also why I still push the pen on my paper,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
but I have now gone, Phil, where I will now take pictures of my notes and put it into AI to
No
conversate.
way.
So I don't know where the line is, or maybe I'm getting more and more into the AI tunnel.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, it's really important to have that human creativity.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting because I didn't study or I didn't grow up with AI, which I think is going to be interesting with I don't know
Yeah.
what generation we're up to now. But new
Yeah.
kids that are using this technology, it's going to be maybe the first time, maybe when a technology or like computers first came about and people were discovering the internet, maybe it's going to
Mm-hmm.
be a similar sort of transitional state that we're going to
Yeah.
be going through.
100%. Yeah, yeah, I had this conversation with someone at a TechCrunch event actually. So if you remember, like when iPhones first came out,
Mm.
the first apps that were available were like light beer drinking. You just
I
because
remember that
you remember
one. I
that?
totally
Yeah.
remember
So
that.
then and a lighter, you just do something and then the lighter would light up. So and then like like a some other apps that were like real world things, but on the app. So I think
Mm,
that's the era, that's the AI era we're at right now. So
mm.
the AI apps we have are like that. They're so primitive. We don't even think what AI actually should be. We're just like creating our current experiences and then making it convert into AI right now. We're in that stage, that beer drinking app stage. So we use
That's
Chrome
funny.
browser for AI, but it just doesn't feel right. There's something missing there. But it just how it transitions. It has to go through these phases to become like you order. I go check in with on my phone, like, and then pay. And I go to Chipotle today. I just paid my membership card, paid with my credit card, and then I kind of got the notification, and then I swipe, and then move on. I not kidding, and then got my food. So like that experience is nothing to do with the beer drinking. But with
Yeah.
AI, we're at that beer drinking app stage. And imagine what possibly is gonna be in like 5 years, 10 years. It's gonna be
That's a
unbelievable.
great analogy because I do remember this app and it was
Yeah,
very
right.
early stages, but now there's an app for everything. And if there isn't an app, it's sort of like, why is there not an app? Or if there's not Apple Pay, it's like, why is there not Apple Pay? So that shows you how fast humans are to
Yeah.
forget what we previously had and just lean in and go with what we have in front of us because it's adding value, it's more convenient, it's cheaper, it's
Hmm.
faster. But there's obviously the negative sides to all new technology integrations into societies as well. So you have to be
Yeah.
careful with that.
Yeah. I mean, you do business with. I mean, I went to Korea. Just this thing. Just I got I mean, obviously my QR code here. Telegram translation payment, with Apple Pay. I mean, this is your business. I mean, good luck doing business internationally back in the day. And
Mm.
so, like AI, yeah, I just think that we're in that transition. We're in that stage, early stage, and then the AI driven apps. I can't imagine what it's gonna be like, but we need to make that piece by piece exploration of what's possible to find out what we can get to.
So, in talking
Yeah.
about finding out what's possible, what is your vision for Umi? What do you think is possible for the future of Umi?
So what I envision for Umi is all these like popular projects from different VMs kind of working and then being able to interact with each other, for the regular blockchain users, who are like regular existing wallets and being able to access to that, and eventually become the most secure blockchain out there. and they give the most seamless experience to people. That's what I want that to achieve. I also want Umi to become the backbone and of Odyssey, and Odyssey is like future. We have so many ideas for Odyssey. Actually, there's so many ideas. I don't think we can ever get to the finishing any of them fully. I mean, all of them fully, but we want a lot of these projects to be like running on Umi. We just need to get there slowly. Like we're planning to get our testnet very soon. For these projects to be able to run we need to be on mainnet. So
Okay.
it's just kind of like step by step we get there. And I just think like this alignment is going to be work really well, I think, in the future.
Do you have a date for mainnet coming up in mind? Can we sneak that one out of you?
To be honest, like I can predict something, but it's gonna come when it comes. You know,
When the
we're close
timing
to
is right.
yeah, yeah. We think like so our chain is very stable. So when we launched our DevNet in March, and
Hmm.
it's been 6 months, 7 months, and it would break all the time. Like it wouldn't even launch in the beginning, and it would like a few months ago it would like crash every 6 hours. We identified all the issues and fixed them. Right now it's been like working, and we also optimized a lot of things. As I call it like a cat purring. It's just very smooth. You can look at the CPU like server usage, like no matter how much spike it is, just a little bit of tick, and it just kind of goes back, and it's kind of purring
Nice.
right now. It's been working for 4 weeks nonstop. Um, so
That's what
we're
testnet
close
is
to
for, right?
testnet. Yeah, so our goal is to get to testnet, and then we don't have like too many features. We want to support Sui MoveVM, and also we want to also support flash blocks. I think that's what it's called, to speed up the individual transaction time. So
Mhm.
it's like go under a second, almost 200 millisecond, like a 1/5 of a second. So those are the big features we want to add. We're also considering Solana VM. We'll see how we can incorporate that. So once we have these three features, we can call it the mainnet, and with the scalability and then basically stability to make sure it's very stable.
Of
Yeah.
course, don't want mainnet going down. So yeah, taking your time and making sure that all of the bugs and it's seamless, that word again, seamless for Umi on your testnet is great for their user experience. And once they come, they're going to have a fantastic experience. They want to come back. They're probably going to jump onto Umi and enjoy that as well, and then sort of create and build the ecosystem together. And that's what's really important in Web3, unfortunately and fortunately. But getting those grassroots founders in there and testing and giving that feedback and coming along with that journey, I think that's really important with the early stage growth to get the traction anyway. But
100%.
hurrying on, I want to ask you as a founder two more questions before we close out. But first of all, is there anything that you have had to sacrifice in your founder journey? Maybe something that you have had to give up or take a different journey that you weren't expected for, and just from a personal level, like being a founder is a very heavy job. Like you mentioned before, you're wearing so many different hats, trying to do so many different jobs, go to conferences, do the marketing, making sure everyone's happy in the team and working. Like, what is your biggest sacrifice as a founder?
I mean, the salary is a big one. um, yeah, salary. I haven't had salary in 3 years, over 3 years, zero. Like, it helps with the taxes though, because when you don't have any income, there's also nothing to report. Um, also
I suppose
getting
that's
a
a good
little
benefit.
bit, yeah. It's actually a good benefit. The government leaves you alone for a while. Obviously, I'm not sure if others people do it this way, but I can't use I can't use the money where when I can give it to my team. It just doesn't feel right. So I would say that people say time. Actually, it's not that big of a deal for me. Like people say I work 24/7. No, I don't. Honestly, like I work a lot, but like I also sleep, anytime I want. Um, and
It
I
sounds
can
like you
take
enjoy what you're
naps.
doing as well, right? I mean, it's okay
Yeah,
to be
it's a
working a lot
lifestyle
if
thing
you're
for me.
enjoying
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think for me this is more like this is what I want to do.
Mm.
I just want to make sure I can do it forever, basically. Sacrifice wise, like um I think if like working with a team, you have to sacrifice a few things. You can't just be angry. I mean, just you shouldn't. You have to be more reasonable, not necessarily like accommodating, but logical, more logical than emotional.
Mhm.
Um, and like think logically, questioning instead of just jumping to conclusions. Because at the end of the other side of the table, there's a human being with an intelligence too. So it's just disrespectful. So, but if you don't like to work with the person, why are you working with them in the first place? Like, if you're not going to respect the person, just don't work with that person. So, like,
Mhm.
find right people to work with, interview. Like, it's just it's the stress, the ups and downs is a lot. When you work at a company, you don't have as many ups and downs. But I tend to create the ups and downs myself for myself. I just can't stop it anyways. So I think another thing is like for longevity, to keep it for longevity, you have to sacrifice a few things. Otherwise,
Mhm.
there's no other big sacrifice. Just to keep going, you might be like, oh, I just won't have a salary for 6 months. Well, I'm 3 years in, and there's no end to it. So good luck. Or you can be like, oh, I'll just sacrifice my health for a little bit, and then I'll just work out later. Well, good luck. You have to think about the longevity and
Mhm.
sacrifice things based on that longevity, and don't sacrifice in the things that will keep you going. So I would say that, yeah.
Yeah, you got to be particular and understanding or reminding yourself that you are the person that makes decisions that are going to make change. I think that's when you can
Yeah.
decide whether it's a sacrifice or whether it's a commitment or whether it's just what you have to do at that time. So, if we go for a little bit of a twist on this question, if you were speaking to your 17-year-old self and you said, "Hey, look, in the future, you're not going to pay yourself for 3 years, zero salary." What words of wisdom are you going to be telling this 17-year-old man?
To be honest, like I don't have any like big regrets necessarily, but I do have a few. It's about the basically time lost for myself. I had to explore and find things out on my own. I come from a very small city in my hometown, um,
How
so my
small,
home
like
country.
thousands or hundreds of thousands or?
The city has like 100,000, but it's like the
Mhm.
third smallest city in Turkey.
Okay.
Turkey, yeah, there's 80 cities. It's the third smallest, and I mean nothing happens there. It's fine. Unfortunately, got hit by the earthquake, which is kind of unfortunate and it's really
Oh, I
sad.
did see that. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was horrible.
yeah. Like I think 25% of people pretty much like just 25% of the houses were gone. It was really horrible. Um, and so it's
Wow.
devastating there. But that's aside from that, it's just coming from a small town. It just takes you longer to get to the place. You have to kind of explore it slowly. And I wish I just 70-year-old self, like I would say, just go to San Francisco. Like it's just, I don't know. Yeah.
Book a one-way ticket to San Fran, bro.
Yeah. I learned computer science. I got the computer science degree. I waited for that to finish. And then, because I had to have a degree and then go to America, I did PhD. I'm not that academic person. I'm very good at school. That's, by the way, I'm really good at school, ironically. And so, but that's, it keeps me stay at school. And so being able to like, kind of jump, maybe if I um, had the right maybe connections, would have jumped ahead a little bit. I would say maybe I would be probably here 10 years before. Yeah.
Interesting, because also you went on you attended, or it was like a 3-month sprint um incubation in San Francisco. Am I getting this right? Did you go on how was that accelerator program in wanting you to go from the computer science into sort of the entrepreneur road? Is that what the start? Can you dive
Hmm.
deep? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I
Can
did
you?
want to. Yeah, I did a few of those actually.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah. So one of them was remote. One of them was remote because of COVID.
Hmm.
And then actually I did three. Two of them were because of COVID remote. Other one was in person. And so I'd say like I think entrepreneurship is not as like straightforward path. So and that's the regret I have. Like I could have just jumped ahead. I like jumping ahead anyways. That's just my personality naturally. Do jump right straight into it. I learned Japanese, just went straight to it. Yeah. I mean, I had Japanese friends and I was like, just gonna take the class. I learned it. I'm like, this is actually not that hard. Stuff like that. You know, I'm kind of like that kind of person who just straight jumps right into it. I injure myself because of that a lot of times physically. But, you know,
Yeah.
with entrepreneurship, it's not as straightforward career path. Like when you're of career, you do your PhD maybe, you go to get a job, you work for a few years and you increase your salary, jump to different teams and then learn more things. So it's very straightforward. You can kind of plan your career. But with entrepreneurship, honestly, it's just sometimes just luck, you know, just right connections, right place, timing, luck. Um, yeah,
And a little bit of
and
risk,
then
I think. You gotta be a little bit riskier
yeah.
to be successful in the entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, and because of this, you just gotta go for it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Speaking of go for it,
I don't know if
how
I'm
can
successful yet though, so
I think this is the thing is like when you have that entrepreneurial mind is that you maybe like
Good.
say sitting here today you want to go for this goalpost and then when you get to that goalpost is already moved, you know. That's
Yes,
the
exactly.
constantly bettering yourself, constantly learning new ideas, and that is the journey of entrepreneurship. I
Yeah,
feel like as the individual you're never like completely satisfied because there's always
yeah,
something that you want to build better or get bigger, or that's the general journey, I think, or the personality traits behind a lot of people is constantly
yeah.
what's next, you know.
That's me naturally. I am like that naturally. And it's annoying for people around me because I'm always like, what's next? Like, how can we improve ourselves? They're like, no, just let's enjoy the current. No, the next. So I'm naturally like that, and that could be annoying for others, but to me, it's very adventurous.
I think it is adventurous, and I can see that with the development of Umi and the ecosystem, and even been watching your spaces and how the ecosystem has been developing over the time. And you're constantly pushing limits to the community and pushing new features and constantly thinking of new ideas, new collaborations. So it's been really awesome for me on the outside perspective to watch the Umi journey and follow you along with the journey. So I want to know, where can people find you? Where can people connect with you, with Umi? Go out there and try Odyssey, play with the test net. What do you tell people how they find you?
Hmm. Yeah, so Umi's website is uminetwork.com, uminetwork.com, and Umi underscore network is our Twitter account. I still call it Twitter, by the way. And Odyssey is actually odyssey.uminetwork.com, but we're creating its own dedicated page, which we call odyssey.page. That's the domain name.
Hmm.
And so it's going to be on odyssey.page. And um, and people like can also find me on Twitter. My full name, Bulent Tustan, and they can find me on Twitter too.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Wait, and do you want to let people know, what does Umi stand for? Unified
multi-VM
multi.
infrastructure.
There we go. Because I didn't know that when I first was getting it, but now if
Yeah,
you people understand, Umi means unified multi virtual machine infrastructure,
yeah,
UMI.
yeah.
That's
It
sort of where the
also means
acronym comes from.
ocean or sea in Japanese.
Ah, there
Um,
we go. There's your Japanese
yeah,
influence touching back in.
yeah. We did a bit of a soul searching with the team, and like 9 out of 10 people love Japan is their favorite country. And we're like, huh, that's interesting. So the Umi was kind of tied to that a
I
little
love
bit.
that. And that's why you're the captain of the ship, the captain of the Umi ship there. Thank you so much, Bulent, for joining me today. It's been so much fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun too.